नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्।
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके
भगवती उत्तम
उत्तमश्लोके
श्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
भक्तिर्भवति
भक्तिर्भवति
नैष्ठिकी।
नैष्ठिकी।
Let me share the screen.
यस प्रभु।
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, verse 20. एतावतालं ननुसूचितेन
एतावतालं
एतावतालं
ननु सूचितेन
अनुसूचितेन
गुणैरसाम्यानतिशायनस्य
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 हित्वेतरान् प्रार्थयतो विभूतिर्
हित्वेतरान्
हित्वेतरान् प्रार्थयतो
प्रार्थयतो
विभूति
विभूति
यस्याङ्घ्रिरेणुं जुषते न भीषो
यस्यान्तिरेणं जुषते न
यस्याङ्घ्रिरेणुं
न
भीप्सो
भीप्सो एतावतालं ननुसूचितेन
एतावतालं
एतावतालं
ननु सूचितेन
अनुसूचितेन
गुणैरसाम्यानतिशायनस्य
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 हित्वेतरान् प्रार्थयतो विभूतिर्
हित्वेतरं
हित्वेतरान् प्रार्थयतो
प्रार्थयतो विभूति
विभूति
यस्याङ्घ्रिरेणुं जुषते अनभीप्सो
यस्यान्तिरेणुं जुषते न भीप्सो
एतावतालं ननुसूचितेन
एतावतालं ननु सूचितेन
एतावतानुसूचितेन
गुणैरसाम्यानतिशायनस्य
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 हित्वेतरान् प्रार्थयतो विभूतिर्
हित्वेतरं
हित्वेतरान्
प्रार्थयतो
प्रार्थयतो
विभूति
विभूति
यस्याङ्घ्रिरेणुं जुषते न भीप्सो
यस्याङ्घ्रिरेणुं
यस्याङ्घ्रिरेणुं
जुषते न
जुषतेन
भीप्सो
भिक्षो
anyone recite once.
एतावतालं ननुसूचितेन
एतावतालं
एतावतालं
ननु सूचितेन
ननुसूचितेन
गुणैरसाम्यानतिशायनस्य
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 हित्वेतरान् प्रार्थयतो विभूति
हित्वेतरान् प्रार्थयतो विभूतिर्
यस्याङ्घ्रिरेणुं जुषते न भिप्सो
यस्याङ्घ्रिरेणुं जुषते
न
न
भीप्सो.
भीप्सो. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charna Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
जय
Synonyms. Etavatha, so far.
Etavata, so
so
far.
far.
Alam, unnecessary.
Alam,
Alam,
unnecessary.
unnecessary.
Nanu, if at all.
Nanu, if
If
at all.
at all.
Suchitena, by description.
Suchitena, by
By
description.
description.
Gunaihi, by attributes.
Gunaihi,
Gunai,
by
by
attributes.
attributes.
Asamya, immeasurable.
Asamya,
Asamya,
immeasurable.
immeasurable.
Anatishayanasya, of one who is excelled.
Anatishahanasya, of one who is unexcelled.
Hitva, leaving aside.
Hitva, leaving aside.
Itaran, others.
Itran, others.
Prartayata, of those who ask for.
Pratyata, of those who ask for.
Vibhutihi, favor of the goddess of fortune.
Vibhuti, favor of the goddess of fortune.
Goddess of fortune.
Yasya, one whose.
Yasya, one whose.
Angry feet.
Angry feet.
Renum, dust.
Renum, dust.
Jushate, serves.
Jushate, serves.
Anabhipso, of one who is unwilling.
Anvivipso,
of one who is
unwilling.
Translation, please repeat after me. It is now ascertained that he, the personality of Godhead, is unlimited.
It is now ascertained that he, the personality of Godhead, is unlimited.
And there is none equal to him.
And there is none equal to him.
Consequently, no one can speak of him adequately.
Consequently, no one can speak of him adequately.
Great demigods cannot obtain the favor of the goddess of fortune even by prayers.
Great demigods cannot obtain the favor of the goddess of fortune even by prayers.
But this very goddess renders service unto the Lord, although he is unwilling to have such service.
But this very goddess renders service unto the Lord, although he is unwilling to have such service.
Purport.
The personality of Godhead, or the Parameshwara, Parabrahman, according to the Shrutis, has nothing to do. He has no equal, nor does anyone excel him. He has unlimited potencies, and his every action is carried out systematically in his natural and perfect ways. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in himself, and he has nothing to accept from anyone else, including the great demigods like Brahma. Others ask for the favor of the goddess of fortune, and despite such prayers, she declines to award such favors. But still, she renders service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although he has nothing to accept from her. The personality of Godhead in his Garbhodakshai Vishnu feature begets Brahma, the first created person in the material world, from his navel lotus stem and not in the womb of the goddess of fortune, who is eternally engaged in his service. These are some of the instances of his complete independence and perfection. That he has nothing to do does not mean that he is impersonal. He is transcendentally so full of inconceivable potencies that simply by his willing, everything is done without physical or personal endeavor. He is called, therefore, Yogeshwara, or the Lord of all mystic powers.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Jnanatimirantasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnaprisaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine Namo Acharya Padaya Nitaya Kripa Pradayine Gaurakata Dhamadhaya Nagara Grama Tharine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauramani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavade Pasyatyadesh Satharine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Hare Gopal Govindaram Sri Madhusudanam Mukham Karodi Vachalam Pragulanga Tegiri Methur Patama Vande Sri Gurundir Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishvara Hari Om Tat Sat. So the personality of God is unlimited. Very, very important. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, verse 16, we have Aneka Bahu Daravaktra Netram Pashyami Tvam Sarvato Anantarupam Nantam Namadyam Napunastavadhim Pashyami Vishveshwara Vishwarupa. So the Lord of the universe, universal form, Arjuna is telling, I see in your body many, many arms, bellies, mouths, and eyes expanded everywhere without limit. This is unlimited. He says, I see in you no end, no middle, and no beginning. So Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and is unlimited. So, and through him, everything could be seen. Sarva Avatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan. Tanhara Dvitiya Deha Sri Balarama. Chaitanya Charitamrita. The Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, he is the fountainhead of all incarnations. And Lord Balaram is his second body. So Lord Sri Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is the primary Lord, the original form of Godhead, and his first expansion is Sri Balaram. The personality of Godhead can expand himself in innumerable forms, and the forms that have unlimited potency. So this is called a Swamsa. And forms that have limited potency, like us, the living entities, are called Vibhinnamsa. So this is the unlimited potency of Krishna. So let's go ahead to the next verse. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, verse 21. Athapi yatpadanakavasrishtam
Athapi yatpadanakavasrishtam
jagad virinchopahartarhanamba
jagat
Jagavirincho
virinchopakritaranamba
sesham punatyanyatamo mukundat
shesam punatyananunu mukunda
go namaloke bhagavat padartha
go namaloke bhagavat padartha
athapi yatpadanikaavasrishtam
yathapi yatpadanikaavasrishtam
jagad virinichopahartarhanamba
jagat virinnichopaharanamba
sesham punatyanyatadmo mukundat
शेषं
पुनात्यन्यतत्त्वो मुकुन्दात्
को नामलोके भगवत्पदार्थ
को नामलोके भगवत्पदार्था
तथापि यत्पादनकावसृष्टम्
अथापि यत्पादनकावसृष्टम्
जगद्विरिञ्चोपहृतार्हनाम्भा
जगद्विरिञ्चोपहृतार्हनाम्भा
शेषं पुनात्यन्यतमो मुकुन्दात्
शेषं पुनात्यनातमो मुकुन्दात्
को नामलोके भगवत्पदार्था
को नामलोके भगवत्पदार्था
Yeah, anyone please.
अथापि यत्पादनखावसृष्टम्
अथापि यत्पादनखावसृष्टम्
जगद्विरिञ्चोपहृतार्हनाम्भा
जगद्विरिञ्चोपहृताहरणाम्भा
शेषं पुनाति अन्यतमो मुकुन्दात्
शेषं पुनात्य अन्यतमो मुकुन्दात्
को नाम लोके भगवत्पदार्थ
को नाम लोके भगवत्पदार्थ
Synonyms. Atha, therefore.
अतः therefore
Api, certainly.
अपि certainly
Yat, whose.
yat whose
Padanaka, nail of the feet.
पादनखा nails of the feet
Avasrushtam, emanating.
अवसृष्टम्
avashrishtam
emanating
emanating
Jagat, the whole universe.
jagat the whole universe
Virincha, Brahmaji.
Virincha Brahmaji
Upahrita, collected.
Upahirta collected
Collected. Arhana, worship.
Arhana worship
Amba, water.
Amba water
So, along with.
Sa along with
Isam, Lord Shiva.
Isham Lord Shiva
Punati, purifies.
Punati purifies
Anyatama, who else?
Anyatama
who
who
else?
else?
Mukundat, besides the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna.
Mukundat besides the personality of God and Sri Krishna
Ka, who?
Ka who
Nama, name.
Nama name
Loke, within the world.
Loke within the world
Bhagavat, Supreme Lord.
Bhagavat Supreme Lord
Pada, position.
Pada position
Artha, worth.
Artha
Artha worth
Please repeat after me. Who can be worthy of the name of the Supreme Lord but the personality of God at Sri Krishna?
Who
Who
can
can
be
be
worthy
worthy
of
of
the
the
name
name
of
of
the
the
Supreme
name of
Lord,
the
but the
Supreme
personality
Lord,
personality
of
but
of
the
God?
Godhead Sri
personality of
Krishna?
Godhead, Sri Krishna?
Brahmaji collected the water emanating from the nails of his feet in order to award it to Lord Shiva as a worshipful
Brahmaji,
welcome.
Brahmaji
Brahmaji
collected the
Brahmaji
collected
water
collected
water
the water
emanating
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 from
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 the
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 nails
nails
of
nails
of
his
of
his
his
feet
feet
in
in
order
in
to
order
order
to
to
award it
award
to
it
award
to
Lord
it
Shiva
Lord
as a
Shiva
to
worshipful
Lord
as a
welcome.
Shiva
worship
as
full
worshipful
welcome.
welcome.
This very water, the Ganges, is purifying the whole universe, including Lord Shiva.
This
This
very
very
water,
water,
the
the Ganges,
Ganges,
is
is
purifying the
purifying the
whole
whole
universe,
universe,
including Lord Shiva.
including Lord Shiva.
Purport.
The conception of many gods in the Vedic literatures by the ignorant is completely wrong. The Lord is one without a second, but he expands himself in many ways, and this is confirmed in the Vedas. Such expansions of the Lord are limitless, but some of them are the living entities. The living entities are not as powerful as the Lord's plenary expansions, and therefore there are two different types of expansions. Lord Brahma is generally one of the living entities, and Lord Shiva is the medium between Lord and the living entities. In other words, even demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, who are the chief amongst all demigods, are never equal to or greater than Lord Vishnu, the supreme personality of Godhead. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, and all powerful demigods like Brahma and Shiva are engaged in the worship of Vishnu or Lord Krishna. Therefore, who can be more powerful than Mukunda, Lord Krishna, to be factually called the supreme personality of Godhead? The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi ji, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva are not independently powerful. They are powerful as expansions of the Supreme Lord, and all of them are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. And so, also are the living entities. There are four sects of worshipful devotees of the Lord, and the chief amongst them are the Brahma Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and Sri Sampradaya, descending directly from Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, respectively. Besides the above mentioned three Sampradayas, there is the Kumar Sampradaya, descending from Sanat Kumara. All, all, of, all of the four original sampradayas are still scrupulously engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord up to date, and they all declare that Lord Krishna, Mukunda, is the supreme personality of Godhead, and no other personality is equal to him or greater than him.
Hari Om Tat Sat. So this is yet another worthy uh, talking about the holy name of Lord Krishna. Mm. And so that Ganga is coming from the nails of his feet. So So, rendering service unto Krishna. It is not possible to love Krishna perfectly, to render service to Krishna because he is unlimited. We have seen in the previous two verses, it has been mentioned how unlimited is Krishna. But there is a process, worshipping the Ganges in India. The Ganges river is considered sacred river. So they worship the Ganges because it is emanating from the nail of his feet. So by taking the water from the Ganges and offering it in a small pot, like Brahma did here, uh, the pot, or maybe in the hand, you can get it in the handful of Ganga, take some water from the Ganges, and with your devotion and mantra, you can offer the Ganges water. So you take a glass of water from the Ganges and offer it to the Ganges. what is their gain or profit or loss or gain for the Ganges? But if you take a glass of water from the Ganges and again offer it, so what is the gain and profit of Ganges? But your process, your faith, your love for Mother Ganges, I offer you this little water, that is accepted. This is transcendental. So, the most important part here is to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead because of He is unlimited. So there is a process to glorify Him. He expands. The Lord is one without a second. And He expands unlimitedly in so many different ways. And these are all confirmed in the Vedas. And each expansion is unlimited. And of course, some of them, Vibhinna Amsa, I said in the previous worlds. So they are living entities. The living entities, they are not as powerful as the Lord's plenary expansion. So, which means there are, Prabhupada writes in the purport, there are two types of expansion. Okay. And Brahma is the living entity. Lord Shiva is between the living entity and the Lord. So these are all the two categories. So even demigods like Lord Brahma, who is a living entity, and Lord Shiva, who is above the living entity, but lower than Lord Vishnu, they are chief amongst all the demigods. They cannot be equal to the Lord. And they are all rendering service unto the Supreme Lord. Such is the glory of the Lord. In the previous verse, we saw that even demigods like Brahma and Shiva hankering for the opulent of Lord Lakshmi, goddess Lakshmi, but she is not giving easily, but she is rendering service unto the Supreme Lord, who is not willing to accept her service. So that is the status of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mukunda, one who can give liberation. So who else can be worthy of speaking other than such wonderful Supreme Personality of Godhead? And here the second offense is very clearly mentioned here, to considering that names of demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. So here it's very, very clearly Prabhupada said, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are not independently powerful. They are powerful as expansions of the Supreme Lord, and all of them are engaged in the transcendental loving service to the Lord. Similarly, the living entities also. Okay, and there are four Sampradaya, Prabhupada is quoting here. All the four Sampradayas are Vaishnava Sampradayas only. There is no other Sampradaya exist in the world. Only four Sampradaya, and all four are Vaishnava Sampradaya. All the four Sampradaya except Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One is descending from Brahma, in which we are connected. Another is descending from Rudra. The third one is descending from Lakshmi ji. And the fourth one is descending from the four Kumaras or Sanat Kumara. So all of them are Vaishnava Sampradayas only, and all of them have established Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came, he has taken the essence in all other three Sampradaya and empowered this one Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya to the fullest extent, so that this one Sampradaya is enough to, engage the whole material existence in the pure unalloyed loving devotional service in ecstasy unto the Supreme Lord Krishna. So that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's unlimited mercy. So let's go to the next verse. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, verse 22. Yatranurakta sahasaiva dhira.
Yatranurakta sahasaiva
Yapo hyadehadishu sangamuddam.
Yapyo yadayasiru sansangahudam
Vrajanti tatvaramaham semantyam.
Vrajanti tatparamahംస్యం anche
Yasmin nahimshopashama swadharma.
yasmin haimsho pasama
Yatranurakta sahasaiva dhira.
yatra anurakta sarasaiva dhira
व्यापोह्य देहादिषु सङ्गमूढम् ऊधम्
व्यापोय देहादिषु सङ्गमूलम्
सङ्गमूढम्
व्रजन्ति तत्पारमहंस्यमन्त्यम्
भजन्ति
भजन्ति
तत्पारमहंस्यमन्त्यम्
तत्परमहंस्यमन्त्यम्
यस्मिन्नहिंसोपशमः स्वधर्म
यस्मिन् अहिंसोपशमस्वधर्मा
यत्रानुरक्ता सहसैव धीरा
यत्राणुरक्ता तवसैव धीरा
व्यापोह्य देहादिषु सङ्गमूलम्
व्यापोय देहादिषु सङ्गमूलम्
व्रजन्ति तत्पारमहंस्यमन्त्यम्
व्रजन्ति तत्पारमहंस्यमन्त्यम्
यस्मिन्नहिंसोपशमः स्वधर्म
यस्मिन् अहिंसोपशमस्वधर्मा
Now one person can recite.
यत्रानुरक्ता सहसैव धीरा
यत्रानुरक्ता
सहसैव धीरा
व्यापोह्य देहदीषु सङ्गं मूढम्
व्यापोय देहादिषु सङ्गमूलम्
भजन्ति तत्पारमहंस्यमन्त्यम्
व्रजन्ति तत्पारमहंस्यमन्त्यम्
यस्मिन् अहिंसोपशमा स्वधर्म
यस्मिन् अहिंसोपशमा स्वधर्मा
Synonyms. Yatra, unto whom?
यत्र
Anurakta, firmly attached.
अनुरक्तो firmly attached.
Sahasa, all of a sudden.
सहसा
all of a sudden.
Eva, certainly.
Eva, certainly.
Dhira, self-controlled.
Dhira, self-control.
Vyapo, here, leaving aside.
Leaving aside.
Deha, the gross body and subtle mind.
Deha, the gross body and subtle mind.
Adishu, relating to.
Relating to.
Sangam, attachment.
Sangam, attachment.
Udham, taken to.
Udham, taken to.
Vrajanti, go away.
Vrajanti, go away.
Tat, that. Paramhamsyam, the highest stage of perfection.
Paramhamsyam, the highest stage of perfection.
And beyond that, Antyam and beyond that.
Antyam and beyond that.
Beyond that.
Yasmin, in which.
Yasmin, in which.
Ahimsa, non-violence.
Ahimsa, non-violence.
Upasama and renunciation.
Upasama and renunciation.
Swadharma, consequential occupation.
Swadharma, consequential occupation.
Translation, please repeat after me. Self-controlled persons who are attached to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna.
Self-controlled persons
who are attached to the
Supreme Lord Sri Krishna
can all of a sudden give up the world of material attachment, including the gross body and subtle mind.
Can all of a sudden give up the
world of material attachment,
including the gross body and subtle mind.
And go away to attain the highest perfection of the renounced order of life.
Including the
highest perfection of the renounced order of life.
By which non-violence and renunciation are consequential.
By which non-violence
and renunciation are consequential.
Purport.
Only the self-controlled can gradually be attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Self-controlled means not indulging in sense enjoyment more than is necessary. And those who are not self-controlled are given over to sense enjoyment. Dry philosophical speculation is a subtle sense enjoyment of the mind. Sense enjoyment leads one to the path of darkness. Those who are self-controlled can make progress on the path of liberation from the conditioned life of material existence. The Vedas, therefore, enjoin that one should not go on the path of darkness, but should make a progressive march towards the towards the path of light or liberation. Self-control is actually achieved not by artificially stopping the senses from material enjoyment, but by becoming factually attached to the Supreme Lord by engaging one's unalloyed senses in the transcendental service of the Lord. The senses the senses cannot be forcibly curbed but they can be given proper engagements. Purified senses, therefore, are always engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord. This perfectional stage of sense engagement is called Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga are factually factually self-controlled and can all of a sudden give up their homely or bodily attachment for the service of the Lord. This is called the Paramahamsa stage. Hamsa or swans accept only milk out of
Out of a mixture of milk and water.
यहाँ पर हाइड हो गया mixture of milk and water. Similarly, those who accept the service of the Lord instead of Maya's service are called the Paramhamsas. They are naturally qualified with all the good attributes such as pridelessness, freedom from vanity, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, respectability, worship, devotion, and sincerely. All these godly qualities exist in the devotee of the Lord spontaneously. Such Paramahamsa who are completely given up to the service of the Lord are very rare. They are very rare even amongst the liberated souls. Real non-violence means freedom from envy. In this world, everyone is envious of his fellow being, but a perfect Paramahamsa being completely given up to the service of Lord is perfectly non-envious. He loves every living being in relation with the Supreme Lord. Real renunciation means perfect dependence on God. Every living being is dependent on someone else because he is so mad. Actually, everyone is dependent on the mercy of the Supreme Lord. But when one forgets his relation with the Lord, he becomes dependent on the conditions of material nature. Renunciation means renouncing one's dependency on the condition of material nature and thus becoming completely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. Real independence means complete faith in the mercy of the Lord without dependence on the conditions of the matter. This Paramahamsa stage is the highest perfectional stage in Bhakti Yoga, the process of devotional services to the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
That's very beautifully Prabhupada explained the purport for this verse. How important is the self-controlled attitude for a devotee? Self-controlled does not mean that you have controlled your senses. Self-controlled means that you have developed attachment to Krishna. Okay. So without attachment to Krishna, the senses cannot be controlled. Many great stalwarts have tried it, like Vishwamitra in controlling senses. He ended up in becoming a prey to the twinkling sound of Menaka and become the father of Shakuntala. So he has been considered very great Rishi, Vishwamitra, and the greatest of sense controllers. But he could not control the sense because he does not know the process. He did not have a spiritual master who is a qualified bona fide one. So he fails despite a very hard labor and attempt he made. Like that, there are so many. On the other hand, one who has the bona fide spiritual master who's a bhakti yogi, and that person, self-control is not at all a challenge, and he does not try for self-control also. He only try to develop attachment to Krishna. The self-control is a byproduct. You don't need to really put your efforts to control your senses. You have to put your efforts by hearing about Krishna, increase affinity to hear more about Krishna's pastime from the bona fide souls. If you do that alone, your senses are automatically controlled, which otherwise you cannot do by any other means. For example, Srila Haridas Thakura, he accepted the bona fide Guru, Advaita Acharya, and he is engaged simply by chanting the Hare Krishna glories. That's all. Chanting Hare Krishna. He did not try to control his senses and all. Even Maya personified have tested him. Who else can test better than that? The maximum level, Maya. So she tested. And there was another lady who tested, very beautiful prostitute, tested him. But they became devotee. And Haridas Thakura's senses could never be, disturbed by twinkling sound or sweet voice or their presence or their fragrance or anything else at all. Rather, they are influenced by the vibration, sound vibration of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, from the lotus mouth of Srila Haridas Thakur, the Namacharya. So this is an excellent example that we have, that how to control senses. Vishwamitra worked very hard to control the senses. It is very difficult. He undertook severe austerity, severe penance, katin tapasya, but still he failed in controlling the senses. Whereas Namacharya was enjoying, relishing, chanting the holy name of the Lord and tasting the holy name of the Lord. In enjoyment, the senses are automatically controlled because he has given a superior enjoyment to the senses. So the senses will not wander about for the inferior engagement at all. So this is give a superior taste to the senses by following the bhakti yoga, by surrendering to a bhakti yogi. This is the process of controlling senses. So controlling senses is no process to control senses. Controlling senses means you just develop attachment to Krishna. Hear about Krishna, chant Krishna's holy name, eat Krishna prasadam. So like that you have to do. That's all the activity. Sense control is no separate process for you. Developing attachment to Krishna is not very difficult because you are already part and parcel of Krishna, servant of Krishna. The affinity is already there. It is not that you have to develop something new. No, it is already there. But it has to be awakened. It's dormant. Because you forgot who are you, and you're thinking yourself, identifying yourself with the body, the false identification, a duplicate passport for them to exist in the material world we have taken. But original passport is that you are Satchidananda Vigraha, part and parcel of Krishna. You are a Vibhinna Amsa, expansion of Krishna. You have the godly qualities that can exhibit if you act as a soul. You don't need to act, you be original. If you be original, that is called acting as a soul. But we are all acting as body, acting as mind. So we have to do everything of artificial means of taking up a body, giving an identity to ourselves, which we are not, and struggling for such a false identity. How can a false exist permanently, you tell me? Why the material world is temporary? Because we are taking false identity, which is not true. So it cannot exist as much as the true exists. Why at all you want a false identity? I am not this body means I am not this body. That's all. But I am existing. I am a person. I am the servant of Krishna. And in a very blissful platform is the way I live. And rendering devotional service is the process I know. And that's all I have to do. All that I need a bona fide spiritual master, which I have got, fortunately, by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And my only pointed attention of existence is just best use of this bad bargain with the material world. I have accepted this body and made this as my identification. This is a mistake. So let me at least use this remaining portion of this, my body and life, in this devotional service of Krishna. And then I can continue to perform a devotional service, not accepting another body and entangling another time. Relief from the birth, death, old age. This is and blissfully situate in the constitutional position and perform pure, unalloyed, loving devotional service under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master and with him. So this is the goal of life. So we have to try to develop the attachment to Krishna, this renunciation, this detachment from the material thing, this sense control, all these things automatically will be taken care of. Anything material is automatically taken care of if you perform transcendental loving devotion service unto the Adokshaja. Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam and Dharmam to Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. So your occupation should be engagement of your senses in the service of Krishna. That is Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Uchyate. This is called Bhakti Yoga. When you engage your senses in the service of Krishna through Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Varchanam, Mandanam, Pada Sevanam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, the 9 devotional processes, when you follow under the bona fide direction of spiritual master, then that is called Bhakti Yoga. Your bona fide spiritual master is the Bhakti Yogi. So Bhakti comes from Bhakta. Bhakti Yoga comes from Bhakti Yogi. So you receive from him and you practice that Krishna consciousness. As you keep practicing, automatically you will develop the spontaneous love for Krishna. The attachment for Krishna increases as you continuously engaging your senses in the service of Krishna. And as this attachment develops, all this sense control, detachment, or renunciation, everything will fall into place. These are not your task. Your task is to simply develop attachment to Guru and attachment to Krishna. Krishna is the Guru is the representative of Krishna. So what you want to do to Krishna, you do to Guru. You develop love for Krishna, you develop love for Guru. So in this way, you do whatever you want to do to Krishna, you can do it to your Guru. Automatically, other things will fall into place without any extra efforts or without any other criteria. So this Bhakti Yoga does not require any qualifications, no any discrimination. This love itself freely given. See, attachment is a symptom of love, right? So this love is freely given, then why not attachment comes? Freely given the love of God. So attachment is also given along with the Lord. You have to just awaken the attachment. The love is already given through the Hare Krishna Mahamantra by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and you have to only awaken the attachment. It's such a simple process, such a simple process in this Katin Kali Yuga. It's such a simple process. Simply associate and raise affinity to hear about Krishna Kada. That's all you need to do. Everything else will fall into place. Be it detachment, be it renunciation, be it sense control. You don't need to do anything for that. All that you need to do is just develop attachment to Lord Sri Krishna. It's a very beautiful purport. Srila Prabhupada has concluded this. What we have to do and what we need not do. We need not worry about anything material, be it senses or renunciation or anything else. So let's go to the next verse. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, verse 23. Aham hi prushthoryamano bhavadbir
अहं हि पृष्ठो रमणो भवद्भिर्
achaksha atmavagamotra yavan
आचक्ष आत्मावगमोऽत्र यावान्
nabhapatantyatmasamam patatrinis
नभपतन्ति आत्मसमं पतत्रिणस्
tatha samam vishnu gatim vipaschita.
तथा समं विष्णुगतिं विपश्चित
Aham hi prushthoryamano bhavadbir
अहं हि पृष्ठो रमणो भवद्भिर्
achaksha atmavagamotra yavan
आचक्ष आत्मावगमोऽत्र यावान्
nabhapatantyatmasamam padatrinas
नभपतन्ति आत्मसमं पतत्रिणस्
tatha samam vishnu gatim vipaschita.
समं विष्णुगतिं विपश्चित
Aham hi prishtoryamano bhavadbir
अहं हि पृष्ठो रमणो भवद्भिर्
achaksha atmavagamotra yavan
आचक्ष आत्मावगमोऽत्र यावान्
न पतन्त्यात्मसमं पतत्रिणस्
नभ पतन्ति आत्मसमं पतत्रिणस्
तथा समं विष्णुगतिं विपश्चित.
समं विष्णुगतिं विपश्चित.
Yeah, anyone's recite once.
अहं हि पृष्टो रमणो भवद्भिः
अहं हि पृष्टो यमनो भवद्भिर्
अचक्षात्मभगवोऽत्र यावत्
आचक्षात्मावगमोऽत्र यावान्
नाभ पतन्ति आत्मसमं पतत्रिणस्
न पतन्त्यात्मसमं पतत्रिणस्
तथा समं विष्णुगतिं विपश्चत.
तथा समं विष्णुगतिं विपश्चित. Synonyms. Aham, my humble self.
My humble self.
He, certainly.
He certainly.
Prishta, asked by you.
Krishna asked for you.
Aryamana, as powerful as the sun.
Aryamana, as powerful as the sun.
Bhavadbi, by you.
Bhavati,
Achakshe, may describe.
Achakshe, may describe.
Atma Avagama, as far as my knowledge is concerned.
Atma Avagama, as far as my knowledge is concerned.
Atra, herein.
Attara, herein.
Yavan, so far.
Yavan, so fair.
Nabha, sky.
Nabha, sky.
Patanti, fly.
Patanti, fly.
Atma Samam, as far as it can.
Atma Samam, as far as it can.
Patatrina, the birds.
Patatrina, the birds.
Tata, thus.
Tata, thus.
Samam, similarly.
Samam, similarly.
Vishnu Gatim, knowledge of Vishnu.
Vishnu Gatim, knowledge of Vishnu.
Vipaschita, even though learned.
Vipaschita, even though learned.
Oh, translation, please repeat after me. Oh, rishis, who are as powerfully pure as the sun.
O rishis, who are as powerfully pure as the sun.
I shall try to describe to you the transcendental pastimes of Vishnu as far as my knowledge is concerned.
I shall try to describe to you the transcendental pastimes of Vishnu as far as my knowledge is concerned.
As the birds fly in the sky as far as their capacity allows.
As the birds fly in the sky as far as the capacity allows.
So do the learned devotees describe the Lord as far as the realization allows.
So do the learned devotees describe the Lord as far as the realization allows.
Purport.
The Supreme Absolute Truth is unlimited. No living being can know about the unlimited by his limited capacity. The Lord is impersonal, personal, and localized. By his impersonal feature, he is all-pervading Brahmana. By his localized feature, he is present in everyone's heart as the Supreme Soul. And by his ultimate personal feature, he is the object of transcendental loving service by his fortunate associates, the pure devotees. The pastimes of the Lord is in different features can only be estimated partly by the great learned devotees. So Srila Sutta Goswami has rightly taken this position in describing the pastimes of the Lord as far as he has realized. Actually, only the Lord himself can describe himself, and his learned devotees also can describe him as far as the Lord gives him the power of description.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Vadanti tattvavitas-tattvam yajnanam-advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti sabdyate. So the Lord is impersonal, personal, as well as localized. And how one who accepts his position as a servant of Krishna, Prahlad Maharaja is also explaining. Srinivatam Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Bandhanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmani Vedanam. Hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering these, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord's one's best friend, surrendering everything unto him. So these are the 9 processes of pure devotional service. So if you want to take up this process seriously, first of all, you should accept the regulative principles for the spiritual life. Follow strictly 4 regulative principles, and no meditating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and no gambling. Then one will be able to accept the injunction to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Then you can always be engaged in the service of the Lord in 9 ways, the 9 different devotional service. If you accept this authority, then your life will be successful, both spiritually as well as materially. Otherwise, we will have to be satisfied with indulging in sense gratification. That is impossible. We accept the body as ourself, thinking I am this body. However, we are not the body. Rather, we are the owner of the body. Just as we are not our apartment or house, but rather the owner or resident of the apartment or house, not even owner, maybe rented. The soul is called Dehi, one who possesses the body. When we study our body, we say, this is my hand, this is my leg. We don't say, I am this hand, I am this leg. Yet the illusion that we are the body persists, you see. The body is nothing but a vehicle for the soul. This is very important first lesson in Bhagavad Gita to understand that this particular body is, is a means, a bad bargain to start performing our devotional service. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, verse 19, we have seen that Vayam tuna viprutyama uttama sloka vikrame yachrunvatam rasajnanam swadu swadu pade pade. We never tire of hearing the transcendental pastime of personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationships with him relish hearing of his pastimes at every moment. So this is wanted, because the supreme absolute truth is unlimited, and we have to hear about him from the bona fide source. The mundane stories and Krishna Katha, there is a big difference. The fiction or history, whereas the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, Vishnu, the histories of the whole universe contain references to the pastimes of the incarnations of the Lord. We have the Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puranas, histories of bygone ages recorded in connection with the pastimes of the incarnation of the Lord. So it always remains fresh. As a loving service, we hear, we speak, both are loving service. Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, they are the Krishna Katha. So anyone may read repeatedly throughout his whole life this Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, yet you will find them new light of information. Whereas mundane news, what you are reading or hearing, is very static. But transcendental news is dynamic. The news is dynamic. This is an impossible statement in the material world. The news is dynamic, because news is always static. That is our experience. But news is dynamic if the news is transcendental. This is the beauty. This is the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. It is what I can say. Like matter is static, the material news, the mundane katha are static. As the spirit is dynamic, your transcendental news is also dynamic. This is a very beautiful statement, the news being dynamic. Nobody will, how can news be dynamic? Yeah, it's already done. It's a history. No, it is past time. It is dynamic. Every time you hear the same news, the transcendental news about Krishna, you get a new revelation. Your bhakti progresses. There is changes, and it's not that one time change only happened. No, it keep on giving transformation. Every moment you are releasing it. Every moment it is not so easy, So we need to understand that hearing about Krishna Katha from the bona fide source is very, very important, because the Sevan Mukehi Jikhvado Swayam Eva Spuratyata. No one can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, quality, and pastime of Sri Krishna through his materially contaminated senses. Na bhaved grahyam indriya. Only when one becomes spiritually saturated by transcendental service to the Lord, they are transcendental. Name, form, quality, and pastime of the Lord can be revealed to him. So unless otherwise you perform devotional service, it is impossible to understand. That is why Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, I am telling you this confidential because you are my friend and a devotee. Devotee means one who performs devotional service. Friend is the, like in the sky, everyone can fly as high as they can. So like that, the devotion service rendered by the devotee, as much as he is being awarded by Krishna. So Arjuna in the Sakya Rasa, he is performing devotional service. So both friend as well as devotee is very important. Then only it is possible. So Sevan Mukhehi Jikhva, though the particular tongue is mentioned, you can begin to reach that stage of revelation by training your tongue. Sevan Mukhehi Jikhva, though chant Hare Krishna, taste Krishna Prasadam, very simple method. You try it and you see. Otherwise, it is not possible. God is not so little that you can order him and he will come. No, that is not possible. But he is pleased. Then he will reveal himself. Then he will reveal himself. Hmm? So, Ata Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriya. Sevan mukhe jikhvado swayam neva spuratya. No one can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, glories, pastimes of Krishna because he is unlimited. And with the materially contaminated senses, there is no chance at all. So we need to understand from that perspective. Prabhupada very beautifully given in this particular purport. So Srila Sutta Goswami has rightly taken this position of describing the pastime of the Lord as far as he is realized. So this is the beauty. And we are relishing it. Thank you very much. So any questions or comments or realization you can do share with us. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
ना प्रभु जी,
Hari Bol.
प्रभु जी
Yes, Prabhu.
21 श्लोक में दिया हुआ है,
Okay.
भगवान के पूजक भक्तों के 4 संप्रदाय हैं, जिनमें से ब्रह्म संप्रदाय, रुद्र संप्रदाय तथा श्री संप्रदाय प्रमुख हैं, जो क्रमशः ब्रह्मा, शिव तथा लक्ष्मी से प्रत्यक्ष आते हैं। इन तीनों के अतिरिक्त एक चौथा संप्रदाय कुमार संप्रदाय है, जो सनत कुमार से आता है। तो भगवान के पूजक भक्तों के 4 संप्रदाय। पूजक मतलब जो भगवान की पूजा करता है, तो
भक्ति करता, भक्ति,
ये 4
डिवोशनल सर्विस।
संप्रदाय में हम लोग भी पूजा करते हैं। तो हम लोग कौन से संप्रदाय में हैं?
हम लोग ब्रह्म संप्रदाय में, ब्रह्म मध्व गौटीय संप्रदाय। ये ब्रह्म संप्रदाय में मध्वाचार्य आया, मध्वाचार्य के नीचे गौटिया गौरंगा आया, उस संप्रदाय। तो ये मध्वा और गौटिया। सो ब्रह्म संप्रदाय के अंदर एक मध्वा लाइन है, एक गौटिया लाइन है। तो उसमें गौटिया लाइन में हम लोग आते हैं, इसलिए हमारा संप्रदाय ब्रह्म संप्रदाय है। और जब गौरंग महाप्रभु आए थे इसी संप्रदाय के अंदर, उन्होंने बाकी 3 संप्रदायों से जितने भी सार है उसको लेके इस संप्रदाय के अंदर दे दिया, ताकि ये संप्रदाय सबसे बड़ा ताकतवर बने। इसलिए ब्रह्म मध्व गौटी संप्रदाय कहलाता है।
धन्यवाद प्रभु।
थैंक
और
यू।
ये श्रील सुखदेव गोस्वामी लगाया जाता है। श्रील क्यों लगाया जाता है? श्री तो शुभ शब्द हुआ या आदरणीय शब्द श्री है, तो इसमें ल क्यों जोड़ा जाता है?
हाँ, श्रील प्रभुपाद, श्रील गुरुदेव, श्रील श्रील श्री विषय। श्रील वो संस्कृत का वर्ड है जो कि उनको आदर करते हैं। स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर को आदर करने का तरीका बताया गया है। श्रील प्रभुपाद, श्रील गुरुदेव, श्रील सुखदेव गोस्वामी, श्रील सूत गोस्वामी, ऐसा।
श्री तो है प्रभु आदर सूचक शब्द है, आदरणीय, सम्मानीय, पूजनीय को श्री बोला जाता है। ल क्यों जोड़ा जाता है? श्रील,
श्री मैंने केवल लक्ष्मी हुआ है,
और ल से पुरुष का बोध होता है।
हाँ। एक्चुअली हम श्रीपाद बोलते हैं। श्रीपाद जो हम बोलते हैं, श्रीला, श्रीला मीन श्रीपाद। श्री और ला, श्री का मतलब ब्यूटी और रेस्पेक्टेबल पर्सन। ला का मतलब दोज हु आर engaged in the pastime of Lord Krishna, Radha and Krishna. लॉ का मतलब है कि वो लोग नित्य लीला प्रवेश बोलते हैं ना, नित्य लीला प्रवेश। उस लीला में जो प्रवेश किए गए उनको हम लॉ कहते हैं। तो श्री लॉ मतलब वो आदरणीय पर्सन है, भक्त है, जो कि राधा कृष्ण लीला के अंदर मौजूद है। वो श्री लॉ का मीनिंग है।
धन्यवाद प्रभु।
थैंक यू, वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन। और श्री लॉ का मतलब ऑल्सो लर्नड, वन हु नोज एवरीथिंग, उसको भी हम श्रीला बोलते हैं, जैसा कि एरुडाइट स्कॉलर्स काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स, वो भी श्रीला होता है। Thank you very much. So we'll wind up and rest more Srimad Bhagavatam class tomorrow morning at 7:30. Till then, Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam की जय।
जय।
पतित पावन श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय।
वैष्णव प्रणाम।
पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री गुरु महाराज की जय। निताय
जय।
गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि
हरि
हरि।
हरि बोल।